fils est de retour.
Welcome to Totes Professional Gaming, where we take you to the end of an era, or as Kratos would call it, just another Tuesday. God of War 3 Remastered is here to show us that you can polish a gory, blood-soaked gem, but can it truly shine in the age of 4K ray tracing and open-world RPGs? Now grab your Blades of Chaos, your anger management pamphlet, and let's dive into this tale of vengeance, mythological family drama, and oddly beautiful gore. We start exactly where God of War 2 left off. Kratos riding Gaia like an Olympian Uber up Mount Olympus. Zeus is shaking in his toga, and Poseidon shows up with the worst case of water retention I've ever seen. The opening moments don't just set the tone, they scream it in your face while pelting you with lightning, horse crab hybrids, and existential questions like, what even is mercy? And if you're new to the franchise, good luck. Sure, there's a quick recap, but it's more of a highlight reel than a proper intro. It's like jumping into the Return of the King and wondering why Frodo's missing a finger. Half the gods are already dead, and Kratos has the emotional range of a brick wall covered in blood. If this is your first rodeo, you'll either love the chaos or wonder why this bald guy hates everything. Let's talk combat, because if you're here for intricate storytelling, I have bad news. Kratos still slices and dices with his trusty Blades of Chaos, Blades of Exile now, because apparently rebranding is important. The combat is as satisfying as ever. Square, square, triangle will be your best friends. Delivering combos so visceral, you'll feel like you're in a Quentin Tarantino fever dream. The addition of new weapons spices things up. The Cestus or Kestus giant lion head boxing gloves steals the show with its satisfying wham factor, but the rest of the arsenal feels like variations on a theme. Hades' claw, Apollo's bow, they're fine, but they lack the oomph of the blades or the raw joy of punching everything into oblivion. That said, the enemies keep things interesting. One moment you're fighting harpies and undead soldiers, the next a centaur shows up like, surprise, bet you forgot about me. The variety forces you to adapt, but the formula starts to wear thin by the end. You'll tap square square triangles so many times your thumb might sue for repetitive strain injury. What truly makes God of War 3 stand out is its sheer scale. The opening Poseidon fight is a masterclass in spectacle, with fixed camera angles showing up Gaia climbing Mount Olympus while you're busy skewering aquatic nightmares. It's jaw-dropping even by modern standards, and it sets a very high bar for the rest of the game. From there, it's a whirlwind tour of Greek mythology's greatest hits. You'll descend into the pits of Hades, where souls scream in agony, and the decor is very Hellraiser chic. Later, you'll scale the massive chain of balance, a glorified godly elevator, and battle Hercules in a sibling rivalry that puts Christmas family feuds to shame. Spoiler, Hercules doesn't make it. The level design is excellent, with environments weaving together seamlessly. The game rarely feels repetitive, even as you navigate the labyrinthine world of Olympus. For one misstep, the puzzle in the caverns. It's basically a giant Rubik's Cube, and let's just say that Kratos isn't exactly known for his patience or his brain power. You'll be longing for another fight scene just to break the monotony. Now here's where the remaster truly shines, the graphics. God of War 3 was already a visual feast in 2010, and the 1080p upgrade makes it look even better. Blood sprays like an abstract painting, shadows flicker ominously, and Kratos himself is so detailed you can practically count his rage wrinkles. That said, not everything got the same love. Helios and Hephaestus look like they were pulled straight out of the PS3 era, and their low-res textures stick out like a sore thumb. It's a reminder that this is still a remaster and not a full remake. On the performance side, the game runs at a smooth 60 FPS, which makes the carnage even more satisfying. The fixed camera angles, while great for cinematic moments, can occasionally frustrate, especially when a giant pillar blocks your view mid-fight. Pro tip, if you're hunting for hidden treasure chests, prepare to spend a lot of time running in circles and squinting at the scenery. The plot is there. Kratos wants revenge, just like in the first and second game. The gods want him dead, and everyone's screaming. It's not bad per se, but it's definitely the weakest in the trilogy. Characters like Hermes and Hera pop up just long enough to be murdered, and the ending feels more anticlimactic than epic. It's that the writers ran out of caffeine and decided, close enough. But let's be real, you're not here for deep narrative arcs. This isn't God of War 2018. You're here to watch Kratos rip Helios' head off and use it as a flashlight, which, yes, is as absurd and awesome as it sounds. The story serves its purpose as a vehicle for the carnage, and honestly, that's all it needs to do. So what's new in the remaster? Not much, unfortunately. Aside from the graphical upgrades and smoother frame rate, which are great, this is basically the same game you played on the PS3. There's no new content, no extra costumes, and even the trophy list is a copy-paste job. The addition of a photo mode is great, but it's pretty bare bones, so don't expect to create any Instagram-worthy shots of Kratos mid-rampage. God of War 3 Remastered is like a fine vintage wine, aged beautifully, but not quite transformed. The combat is as brutal and satisfying as ever. The visuals are stunning, and the scale of the set pieces will leave you in awe. But beneath the polish, it's still a 2010 game, complete with the occasional clunky camera angle, and a story that's more rage-fueled than nuanced. If you've never played it before, this remaster is a no-brainer, but for returning fans, the lack of new content might make you hesitate. Either way, God of War 3 remains a bloody good time. Just don't expect it to reinvent the wheel, or in this case, the blade. And that's it for this review. If you've enjoyed this romp through Olympus, maybe hit like, maybe subscribe, or even sacrifice a goat in the comments. Until next time, keep your vengeance in check and your blades sharp. Thank you for listening.